We're going to begin here today. We have a lot of big news to cover today with XRP, gold, as well as Bitcoin and RWA tokenization. This article is titled, Ripple Business Dealings Show 1,700 Signed Contracts for XRP. Let's read this little tidbit, then I'll give my thoughts. A recent rediscovery of a court document has shed new light on Ripple's business dealings regarding XRP. The document revealed that the company had entered into over 1,700 contracts with financial institutions and companies to transact XRP. Members of the XRP community recently resurfaced this court document, originally filed in 2023 during the heat of the Ripple versus SEC case. Per the document, the 1,700 contracts are specific agreements outlining the terms under which Ripple transferred XRP to various counterparties in commercial transactions. Imagine what is going to be in the future if they execute on this global reach. Everything is still being built, continuing to be built, and is making great progress. It's making positive progress at a lightning pace. You want to be real. We just heard about Thailand government, wanting some sort of contract with Ripple. We saw what India just did with the UAE. I mean, one thing after another. It continues here. Expert analysis of Ripple's 1,700 XRP sale contracts. The context of the revelation at the time was that the plaintiff and defendant sought the court's blessing to dismiss certain parts of expert testimony that could hurt their standing in the legal proceeding. One such testimony up for dismissal was the opinion of Yale Law University professor Alan Schwartz about Ripple's XRP sale contracts. During the discovery, the litigants had produced over 1,700 contracts on Ripple's XRP distribution. Commenting on the dealing, Schwartz categorized these contracts into four main groups. It says in discovery, then they clarify a little bit. Well, not clarify, they reiterate. So we don't need to read that little bit there. The first category consists of contracts in which Ripple directly transferred XRP to a counterparty. Hence why they're sitting on this huge allotment of XRP. Of course, sure, they want that price to skyrocket. What business wouldn't? Their value would dramatically increase just because of the assets that they're holding, but also so they can transfer XRP whenever they need to. Now, let's say they use the loophole of going through exchanges. That's just a little extra effort. It's a little bit more out of their control. They're dealing with the intermediary, obviously. Although that intermediary is sort of acting like another wing or arm of Ripple. Let's be honest here. We're talking about like Uphold, etc., SBI. These people are very, very close partners, much different than the legacy system, of course. But let's continue on here. It says the second category includes contracts in which counterparties agree to sell XRP on behalf of Ripple through trading platforms. Okay, see, now that's interesting there. It says, meanwhile, the third category comprises contracts where Ripple paid for services provided by counterparties using XRP. The fourth and final category is a miscellaneous group that includes contracts that do not fit into the first three categories. Well, could you give us some clarity on what those are? Can we get some details on that? Based on his analysis, Professor Schwartz concluded that the Ripple contracts differ significantly from those described in the Howey test. Okay, so that part I don't care about. We're already through that. But it's interesting to see all of these different contracts and ways that they're using XRP. This is going to get interesting quick into the future. It says, notably, the talks about the significance of 1,700 contracts have been making rounds in the XRP community. It depends on how you interpret it. I mean, in the way that they're utilizing these contracts, it could be multiple contracts with one company for various things. Like they said, one of those group categorizations is them paying a company for services with XRP. Is like, how many of these contracts are that? Now, the superficial way to look at this would be like, oh, it's 1,700 contracts. And to interpret that as 1,700 individual contracts with individual companies. You see, now that's where it could get a little bit hairy, because then it leads you to believe that they have 1,700 institutions that they have contracts with, which is going by this verbiage here is not the case. Who knows how many they actually have and how many of the institutions this applies to. That's what I really would have wanted to know. How many institutions do these contracts apply to? Because then that would give us an idea of the number of institutions that Ripple may be working with, and I would say that's a low ball number, whatever we come up with. So that's really, really good. I think there's more that's unknown than there is that is known. So look, I would have loved if they have more details to this. Maybe they do inside those documents. And if they do have those details, someone will probably put them out, right? Then it says here, they're talking about some XRP enthusiasts, but they don't name them. That's like strange. It says the XRP enthusiast group. Oh, it's a group. I don't know which group. They don't name them. It says, is interpreting this information as a bullish sign. Well, sure. Like, once again, even though I would love to know how many institutions these contracts apply to, like I said, it could be 3 contracts for one institution, 4, 5, 6, who knows, hundreds, depending on the services and what they're writing contracts for. It doesn't necessarily denote that each individual contract is for an individual institution, right? But putting that to the side, sure, this is super bullish in my humble opinion for them to be using XRP and to show that XRP is a crucial part of their business. You know, for so long, people said that, oh, Ripple might not need XRP. This shows they definitely do. This shows that they're not lying to the people when they say XRP is at the crux of everything that they're going to be doing. 100% super bullish. Now, imagine in the future, when they're dealing with thousands of banks, and I do believe they're going to take thousands of banks in the future, how much XRP is going to be in circulation. Just XRP being in circulation globally, being used globally, especially when they start, hoarding XRP or utilizing XRP in closed ecosystems, could make XRP rare. And I want to see that price go up 100%. I know we still have some time to get there. We still have some work to get there. Let's see what else they have here. This is a good article, in my humble opinion. It says they believe several notable institutions have likely adopted XRP for transactions, even making a bullish case for XRP. But that's just a fact. Listen, Bank of America has praised XRP multiple times, right? Now, don't get me wrong. All of these banks have their struggles. I've been reporting on them for so long. But Bank of America is a top financial institution within the United States. Looks to me like they will probably utilize XRPL and XRP systems when the time is right. And who knows when they're going to deem the time to be right. But sure, just an example like that. SBI is a top financial institution as well, right? You have the Thailandese government, you have the UAE, you have India, a part of BRICS nations. I mean, we could go on and on. There's a multitude of top institutions that are pro XRP and more than likely going to utilize XRP. So I would say that's a factual statement. Yes, but those are not the institutions I care about. I don't care about them right now. We already have them in the bag, in my humble opinion. I'm gonna put them over here mentally into this like little box over here. I want to know the unknowns. The unknowns I believe are going to be much more potent. That's how I feel about that. And I can't wait to start hearing those announcements of who is newly going to be utilizing XRP and some of Ripple's future strategies. That's what we're waiting to hear. I don't think they're going to unveil that just yet. Not just yet. We still have a little ways to go. Still have a little bit of waters to go through. And I understand why. I won't elaborate on that right now. Swiss Gold now accepts XRP as a payment option to buy gold. All right. This is a very, very good development in my humble opinion. And it begins here. Swiss Gold becomes the latest firm to accept XRP as a payment option after announcing that it now allows buyers to purchase gold and other precious metals with the crypto. XRP hit another payment milestone after precious metal dealer Swiss Gold announced it now accepts XRPL native token as a payment option. This development allows buyers to purchase gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and rhodium using XRP. I'm gonna tell you what, look, I've used Bitcoin to purchase things. I've used Ethereum for certain transactions. I've used Solana. My XRP isn't going anywhere. I'm just telling you right now, it's not going anywhere. I'm not using my XRP to purchase anything. Nope, not until I see where it's going in the future. Not a single of my XRP is going anywhere, period. I'm just letting you know. I don't look at it as something to be used in that way. That's just my outlook. Doesn't have to be yours. The integration would also allow Swiss Gold to display the pricing of its precious metals in XRP. Now that's a good development. According to the announcement, the pricing is in real time and changes the value of gold and XRP changes in the market. All right. XRP joins an exclusive list of cryptocurrencies that Swiss Gold accepts for trade settlement. The precious metal dealer also accepts payment in Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. Growing demand for XRP. XRP's introduction as a payment option for Swiss gold further distinguishes the digital currency as a notable asset for transactional settlements. The XRPL native token is gradually becoming the go-to cryptocurrency for cross-border payments. Swiss Gold's XRP adoption further blurs the divide between the digital and traditional financial systems. The banking system and multinational firms are becoming increasingly inclined to use cryptocurrencies for transactional purposes. Many notables have previously announced accepting XRP's fast and secure payment system to settle transactions. In July, Web3 Enabler announced it had integrated XRP as a payment option. Yeah, we're making great progress moving forward, like I said. So now we're going to get to the Bitcoin article, and this article is titled, Bitcoin is approaching parabolic phase of market cycle. According to the crypto analyst, here's the timeline. Why do they always say that? According to the crypto analyst or crypto analyst, they don't even name who it is at the beginning. All right, it begins here. A crypto analyst and trader believes that Bitcoin is on the cusp of entering the most explosive phase of its market cycle. We've heard that before. There were other so-called experts that said that like a month or two back. They said in the fourth quarter, when we're entering towards the fourth quarter, that Bitcoin might have its explosion. Now, this is all obviously just their opinion, but that was said. All right. So now this is coming from an analyst named Rect Capital. All right. So this quote, if history repeats, the 160 days after the April 15th halving is where we'll see a breakout in Bitcoin's price action from this reaccumulation range. So there's not much left to still wait for in terms of breaking out in a parabolic rally. I've read an article where I don't know how true it is. You can look into this, but it was saying that something like the U.S. government or a section of it, maybe like the U.S. Marshals or someone who confiscated some of that Silk Road Bitcoin, still has some to sell. Is that accurate? That they still have some Bitcoin to sell? So, if that is true, I take things like that into account as to, negative catalysts that could make an impact. But we shall see. I'll do a little bit more research on that, okay? It continues on here. The analyst says that based on our prior cycles, the parabolic rally could begin before the year's end and continue into 2025. Quote, you can see that maybe we still consolidate a little bit more, but near the end of the year is where we'll start to pick up, because going into 2025 is where we should see a lot of that upside also take place. So the end of this year going into 2025 are going to be really exciting, because we're going to be transitioning away from that first macro uptrend burst, that first bull phase, into the second bull phase, where we enter the parabolic phase of the cycle. We're really not that far away from this parabolic beginning, and it begins with a breakout from this reaccumulation range, and we don't have to wait too long for that breakout to occur. Let's scroll down here, see if there's any more here. Right now, it says Bitcoin is trading at $58,503 at the time of writing. I thought I saw it at $59,000, like right before I start getting my articles earlier in the day. So now we're going to move on here to some RWA news. I find it very fascinating. I think this is where a lot of value is going to be extracted and could be very explosive for some of these projects that are going after RWA. And let's not forget that XRP is one of them. Stellar is also going after real world asset tokenization. And also, if you want to see the latest Stellar video, please go into the members only section. It's posted there. This article is titled, Tokenized RWAs are a $30 trillion opportunity. Polygon executive says high net worth individuals and private equity funds will drive adoption, said Colin Butler. Of course, that's what I've been saying that. And now you have these big timers saying it. High net worth individuals and private equity funds will drive adoption. Yes, I agree with that 100%. I've always known that was going to be the way. Tokenized, retail is too manipulated. It's too manipulated. Tokenized real world assets represent a $30 trillion market opportunity globally. This is from Colin Butler, Polygon's global head of institutional capital, told Cointelegraph in an interview. Adoption will largely be driven by high net worth individuals dramatically increasing portfolio allocations to alternative assets, such as private credit, as tokenization brings liquidity and accessibility to historically illiquid asset classes. Quote, the idea is that there are $300 trillion in global assets, half of which $100 trillion are owned by individuals with net worths between $1 million and $30 million, whose portfolio allocations to alternative assets are often negligible, Butler said. Quote, so in the future, and probably not too far off, you'll go to your JP Morgan private banker and he'll say, I see you have a 0% allocated to this. I'd recommend more like an endowment model of 20%. If you extrapolate that 20% to everyone else, it's a $30 trillion opportunity globally. Very interesting. Good mathematics there. Approximately $9 billion have been invested into tokenized private credit instruments so far, according to data from the RWA.XYZ. That figure is set to grow dramatically as large private equity funds enter the space, Butler said, adding that this is already starting to happen. Quote, the big examples. Sorry about that. Why does it look like that? My apologies. Bear with me one moment. The big examples so far are KKR, which was the first on Avalanche, and then Hamilton Lane. Brevin Howard was the first big hedge fund example, and these are all tokenized on Polygon, unquote, Butler said. Says Butler expects this trend to continue with tens of billions of dollars of additional tokenized private asset issuance in the coming years. Quote, the heads of digital at these places, they're thinking this way, unquote, he explained. Quote, if a private equity company with $500 billion assets under management is modeling raising $500 billion more in the next 5 years, they're modeling 10% growth or $50 billion from this vertical, unquote. Excluding stablecoins, approximately $11.6 billion in tokenized RWAs are currently held on blockchain networks. The most popular RWAs are currently tokenized money market funds, such as BlackRock USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund, BIDL, and Franklin On-Chain U.S. Government Money Fund, FOBXX. They manage some $520 million and $420 million, respectively, according to RWA.XYZ. Polygon Technology develops blockchain scaling solutions. Well, we know about Polygon. You know, that's one of our original coins. It went boom in 2021. I did take some good profit off of Polygon. But I still believe in Polygon as well. You know, the tokens that I've taken profit off of that I still believe in. Polygon, I still believe in that. They'll have a bright future as well, much brighter. Cardano as well. I don't have either one of them anymore, but I wouldn't doubt that I might get some in the future. They're both super bullish, in my humble opinion. Very, very good utility tokens, not financial advice. I'm never going to give you financial advice. Just know that. So just keep that out there. Unfortunately, I have to say that all the time. So now let's end off here with a little bit of gold news, okay? A little bit of gold news. So now, this article here, I don't know why it's freezing up. Oh, it was loading some advertisements, of course. This article is titled, New Import Quotas Could Foreshadow Another Surge in Chinese Gold Demand. It says new gold import quotas for Chinese banks could foreshadow another surge in Chinese demand. Remember I said this, there were some article writers that came out and they were very negative on gold at the time, even though gold just proved them wrong again, hitting $2,500. But they were very negative on gold because China stopped buying. But then I said this, I said they need to do a little bit deeper research because representatives from China's financial system literally came out. I read you the article. The video still posted as proof. And the article clip is in there. They literally came out, representatives, and said, hey, we're going to stop buying for now, but we're coming back later. And I said, well, that makes perfect sense to me. I don't see the gold stacking stopping. I see it actually increasing in the future. And all the other central banks that have been buying gold have continued to buy. You have some that have sold and then they buy back an equal amount or more. So either way, that negation is offset by the positive gain later on. So that amount that they have has continued to increase. So I don't see why China would be any different, especially not since China is trying to get off of the Western based systems, right? They're trying to separate themselves from Western based systems. They're going to need something to back up their current currency. They're going to need something to back up their banks. They're going to need something to back up their new digital currency as well. All of the BRICS nations will need to do that. I firmly believe all the banks need to do that around the world. That's why they all have been stacking record amounts of gold over the last 2 to 3 years. So yeah, so I believe that they will begin buying again, and that will definitely bring up the price of gold a little bit. It says demand for gold was white hot in China last spring, helping drive global prices to record highs. Helping, it's not the only one. It's because all of these banks are doing it at the same time. It says Chinese demand slowed in recent months. I told you, see, we already covered that though. We know that due to high prices, but there are signs. It's not about the price. I don't know why people think that. Price does not matter to banks that print their own money, that print their own value. Value is nothing to someone who fabricates it out of nothing. They can fabricate it anytime they want. It's not the price. It's strategic. It says, but there are signs another Chinese gold buying spree could be on the horizon. The People's Bank of China has given several commercial banks new gold import quotas in anticipation of revived demand despite high prices. And on top of that, they have, listen, all banks, all businesses have the absolute best financial advisors and research teams money can buy. So they know that it's likely gold is going to go much higher. So right now, even though gold is considered high now at, let's say, $2,500, let's say it goes down to $2,450, something like that. This might be a low price in the future. We have top institution after top institution now calling for $3,000 gold, possibly in the future. And after yesterday's information that came out, which is showing that a multitude of banks, it's not just in the U.S., but globally, right? But they focused on the U.S. yesterday, are at risk of collapsing. People are going to run to a safe store of value. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of that value, if the banks collapse, and I believe that they will, a lot of them, people will run to money market funds. I've said this for like an entire year. You keep seeing it come true. Money market funds, because they're highly liquid and they can move that value quickly, which is why I said I do believe a lot of that capital that lingers in money market funds may come to crypto, especially now that people are calling for another possible bursting in the bubble of the stock market at some point in the next few months. So if that happens once again, I think some of that liquidity is going to come out of there. And why wouldn't it come into crypto? Crypto doesn't have to have anything to do with the stock market. Crypto can boom without the stock market, and crypto can defy all odds if it really, really wants to, if it gets a good push. But anyway, putting that to the side, I think a lot of that can go into money market funds and gold. And I think people trust gold. They're more familiar with gold. I won't say they trust gold more than money market funds, but most people know gold. If I talk to people on the street, I talk to common people all the time. People are like, yeah, gold, they're slightly interested in gold, but money market funds, money market accounts, they're like, what's that? Can you explain that to me? So the education is a little bit better on gold, and especially silver. I think silver is going to boom in the future. See, when people, now regular people, the price of gold matters to. That I did learn. This is what I've seen. Okay, I don't know what you've seen, but regular people will say, gold is a little high. So then they start looking at what? Silver. I think silver is going to benefit as well. They like silver. Silver is a much more reasonable price for them. You can get a little brick of silver. You're not breaking the bank, and it's a nice, safe store of value. Get that at a low at a certain point, very easily. So I think silver is going to go up as well, but gold, I think, is going to see a dramatic increase over the next 2 to 3 years. So, I'm very excited for that. 100%. All right. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.